This is Shawn Irwin, your youth director with Darts Ontario. Welcome to episode 2 of Darts Ontario Let's Talk Darts. I wanted to talk to our youth players, past and present, to see how they got into darts and their story. I'm with Darts Ontario Junior Male Singles Champion and 2020 Team Ontario member Jeremy Morrison of the Oshawa Youth Dart League. Thank you for taking the time to answer some questions so the dart community can get to know more about Jeremy Morrison. And how you doing today, Jeremy?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's great. So how old were you when you started playing darts, and how did you get started?
Okay, so I would have been around 12, 13. I was just going into middle school, and we got started because my dad had taken me to an exhibition match with John Parr and Maria Mason and like the top dart players in Canada at the time. They'd come in to play at the Legion, and he had won like a raffle to get to play against one of the players there, and he had let me play instead.
Wow, that's a great experience. So was it your dad that inspired you to play darts?
For the most part, yeah. Like he had introduced the game to me.
Yeah. Well, your grandfather, grandfather John Morrison and your father Jake Morrison has a long line of success in their dart careers. I know they are incredibly supportive with your dart game, but do you feel you need to follow their footsteps?
Not at all,
No?
because I think I need to try to be better than both of them.
No, I love to hear that. So follow your own path and see where that leads to you. How often do you practice during the season, and do you practice during the off season?
So during the season, not nearly as much as I should. Probably only about half an hour a day, but like as much as I can. And during the off season, usually it's just playing against my dad or grandpa wherever I can find games online.
So you're getting some dart games in, so that's good.
Yeah, not too much recently.
Yeah. And how do you prepare yourself before a big match with getting focused?
Getting focused is very like mental. Like there's not much that I do other than sit down, put on some music, just turn off all distractions. Learn that off like when you're playing basketball, and that something like I like to do is how they get the players like to be completely focused is they'll just put some music like in their headphones and turn off everything else from like their life. Like they'll put their phone on silent, they're not getting messages, they're not on social media, it's just them and whatever game that they're playing.
Oh, that's great to hear. Darts is a very emotional game. How do you control your emotions during the big games?
Sometimes it's hard to, but so I can't say I always do that the best, but usually it's just having someone like dad there with me, whether I win or lose, to either say like good job or like it's all good, like you can win so many more games in the future.
That's right. We're always learning too. So, what's the best part of competing for you?
The best part of competing, other than winning, is probably just I like the social aspect of it is one big thing for me. Like always playing against new people and eventually better people once you win. Like like in our league, like you win your league, then you get to go play provincials, then eventually nationals, and hopefully overseas. Just getting to play better and better players as you go along.
That's great. If your match doesn't go well, as we talked about being focused, how do you get focused after you have a tough game, you don't win all your games, and you lose a big game, and then you got to play another match right away? How do you stay focused during that time?
For me, it's just knowing that I have so many more games to play. For example, like in the provincials, like you start in your round robin, but I only have to win 7 games, and you get that shirt or that jacket, or you get to go play in the nationals. And that's the big thing for me, just knowing that I still have these other games, like I still have a chance after that. Like it's never just you lose the game and you're done. There's always another chance to do well.
Right. Tell us about your experience playing at the provincials and leading up to becoming the 2020 Ontario champion.
Okay, well, my experience at the provincials wasn't always well. Obviously, starting your first year, you're probably not, no one's probably going to do well in their first year. That was a pretty disappointing time because of how well I thought I would be able to do. So losing in the first round robin of the first day wasn't the best experience, but got through that eventually. And it's only my third year now, so second year, right? You go in feeling a lot better, but still disappointing results. You play your round robins. You think, oh, well, now I made it to Sunday, so now I'm just going to win. I'm just going to beat everyone. But never ends up that way. So I got to lose, but still like a good placement, top 16. So I still feel like I can compete with the best players there. And it was just like a mindset change from losing the first year, just going there and playing for fun, to now I want to beat everyone, making it to top 16, knowing I can beat everyone, and then just going out and doing it to the best of my ability.
And you did just that in March. You played some great players, some players with some great experience that have been doing it for a long time, and you came on top. So seeing you on stage was a great experience. You were playing Trey House. Can you take us through that experience of playing Trey in the finals?
Okay, so on stage was probably one of my worst games of the day because at that point, like I knew like I'd made the team, and at that point, like it was just relaxed to the point of where whether I win or lost, like I knew that the outcome would only be good for me in the end. So it was just up there to just have fun, like hope definitely trying to win, but regardless of a win or a loss, it was just a good experience to know like you had already made it so far that that's as good, like that's as good as it gets.
Well, last year you were on stage and you won the doubles championship um, with AJ, and this year you're on stage again and ended up coming runner up. But I know it's always been about singles for you, and you've done just that.
Yeah.
So, with the cancellation of nationals in Nova Scotia this year due to COVID, tell us about how you'll prepare for to reach your goals next season, and what are your goals?
Oh, so well, this year my goal was obviously I really wanted to go play overseas because like so since it's really hard to go and play in these tournaments in like Nova Scotia or wherever they are to qualify to play overseas, my one chance of getting there to actually be able to play was making the national team, which obviously I was able to do, but that got cut short. In terms of like preparing for the future, it's more like the game's always been very mental for me because anyone can pick up darts and throw them at the board and do well.
Right.
It's just doing it at the right times against the right people when you need to do it.
And in the game of darts, you have to become an expert of calculating in your head, and you've really done a great job with that. You see the pros, and they know what to shoot with each dart. What have you done to help improve this part of your game?
Oh, at that point, it's just talking to my dad and grandpa and learning different ways of, let's say it's just taking out a simple finish, knowing that you can do it in this many ways in different situations. Like for certain like bull finishes, knowing like when it's okay to shoot at the bull or when you need to, versus setting up a shot on something like 70. Whereas if I'm ahead, the person's a little bit behind, you can go something like triple 10 or triple 18. Whereas if I really need a chance to win the game, it's 20-20 bull every time.
And you learn that as you go on. I played darts when I was your age, and I felt I was just so good at math, and that helped me in school. But as I've taken over and coaching the Oshawa Youth Dart League, talking to your dad and other dart players, there's so much to learn always. And I've learned a lot of outs even through your dad, which is great. You mentioned about playing basketball. I was going to ask you, what other sports do you play? And tell me about your experience with basketball.
Okay, yeah. So other sports I play are basketball and track. My experience with basketball not nearly as good as it went with darts. Very like I started playing like younger, but never was able to get into it because of either money or whatever it was. had a very bad experience in terms of like playing on a rep team and having bad team chemistry in that. Whereas track always went a little better for me, but again, there was physical limitations there that stopped me from being able to compete.
Right. So with track, basketball, darts, do you have a favorite?
In terms of playing, I think my favorite thing to do is I just like running track. It's just
Yeah.
a very like free thing. And playing basketball, I like to do more in terms of just personal enjoyment. Like when I'm out with some friends on like a Saturday, like in the day, like we're probably not going to come over to my place and play darts. We're probably going to go out and play basketball or whatever it is we're doing. So for that reason, in terms of like being able to compete, I like to play darts a lot more. Being able to play at a higher level in something and play against better people is always fun.
Yeah, that's great. And you've been playing against your grandfather and your dad so many times. Even before we met you, I know you were playing a bit, but you joined the Oshawa Youth Dart League. And how's that experience been joining a league?
It definitely makes the game a lot more enjoyable. Like there's something to look forward. It gives you a reason to practice. Whereas before that, like it was just trying to get me into like a new hobby. And then after joining a league, it's now I want to practice because now I want to win this tournament or win that tournament. And there's always something to look forward to.
And what other hobbies do you have besides sports?
Well, there's a bunch of other ones, like a bunch of new ones that I've just recently started to get into. Like me and my friend, what we do is we build our own like skateboards and stuff. Obviously, we started doing that because we're not very good at doing the tricks, but it's always fun, something fun to do. It's a useful skill to learn how to woodwork and all that.
That's great. And back to darts, do you have a favorite opponent you like to play against? And if there's one player in the world that you would be able to play, who would that be and why?
Okay, so answer to that first question is definitely I like to play against my grandfather. He's getting older, easier to beat, and it's also a good accolade to say, yeah, I beat him because of all the accolades that he has, even though it's gotten a lot easier over the years. And in terms of someone that I would really want to play, probably a top Canadian player, either like John Part or Dawson Marshall, like whoever is on top right now, to just because at that point it's I want to be the best here before I can get anywhere else. And it's just such like just knowing the relationship that like my grandfather and John Part or whoever it is has, and then getting to play and hopefully beat them would just feel really good.
It would. Now, I know your dad, Jake, has made the youth team. I think it was like 1997 or something.
I
Uh,
wouldn't know.
yeah. And your grandfather, did he ever make the national team for the adults?
He did 5 times, I think.
5 times. So, yeah, you've got a lot of darts in that family. So you've done a great job. 3 generations right there. Um, so you've got your favorite opponents. So you've played a lot of great players in the youth program. But tell me about what would you give advice for other youth following your success?
So for other youth to do well, the first thing is coming in your first like years, you want to come in with a very like competitive mindset because that's all that's like darts is. It's just all mindset, and you're not gonna beat anybody if you don't really want to compete and you don't like to play. Because at like first coming in, like I liked darts, like it was like a cool hobby, but it was never something that I took very seriously. But as I played more and as I got to enjoy the game more, it made me want to compete and do better against better players. And that's the only thing that's going to help you beat those people is wanting to beat them.
Yeah, there's been a few players I know over the last couple of years that you really want to play. You've had some great battles with Donovan Pilon from Cornwall. He's two-time Ontario champion and Canadian champion. Um, how's those matches been since when you guys played?
Those are probably my favorite matches to play. They're just the most fun being at such a high level. And also knowing that once we're done, like it's very like friendly at the end of the day. Like knowing that once we're done our game, we'll go play doubles with, say, my dad and one of his friends, and it go from a very competitive thing to very friendly, but at the same time, like there's two different relationships there, and both are very like good to have with everyone that you meet and play against.
Yeah. You've got some good battles in the Oshawa League with some great players from past to present. How's it been playing against some of the players in Oshawa?
Playing against the players in Oshawa is great actually, because it's one of the better and more competitive leagues in my eyes, having how we have many players that come and do want to compete every week. Aside from just having people come in and play for fun, there's a very good social atmosphere, as well as having people that will push you to become better as you go along.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out. And I just want to thank you for taking this time, and good luck in reaching your goals. And we hope to see you at some dart tournaments, of course, provincials. Are you planning on doing any online darts, as many people are doing right now?
Yeah, hopefully we can. My dad's trying to get me into the next CDC or JDC tournament, whatever they're hosting or running, because we kind of messed up in getting involved in the first one.
Well, I know Braden Hall, who won the senior boys championship. He's doing a lot of online playing, and I mentioned about maybe the two of you, the junior champion and the senior champion, playing each other online. And looks like you took that invite, and Braden as well. So maybe we can set that up sometime in the next week or so.
Yeah, that would be a pretty fun opportunity.
All right. Well, I appreciate taking the time, and look forward to seeing you. Hopefully we can get Oshawa started sometime soon. And the zone shoots are still planning for January. But right now, none of the leagues are really starting. So hopefully you can get some practice in for zones. But the good thing about yourself is you don't have to play zones for singles, and you go right to provincials for the bye. How is that getting a bye right into provincials for you?
For me, it's just knowing that I don't have to go through the zone. It just gives me more time to practice. It's also just a good feeling knowing that you have to earn that bye, and it's not just something that's given out to players.
Right. Only the top four get the bye into the next year's provincial. So great job, Jeremy. And thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And let's see your new jacket there.
Oh. I can stand up a little bit.
There you go. There's your Ontario champion jacket. So the four of you get one of those jackets. So good for you. Well deserved. And thank you for taking the time out and talking with me.
Yep.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye, Shawn.
That was great to talk to Jeremy Morrison of the Oshawa Youth Dart League. Make sure you go to our website at www.dartsontario.ca to find out more information about our organization, and like the Darts Ontario Facebook page so you get all the updates. Are you a current or former youth member of the Darts Ontario program? If you would like to be on our show, please email me at youth@dartsontario.com. This is Shawn Irwin, your youth director with Darts Ontario, and look forward to seeing you at the next episode, which is episode 3 of Darts Ontario, Let's Talk Darts. You won't want to miss this show, as this young lady has dominated youth darts for 7 years and has moved on to the youth program. Take care and see you next time.